And if we bring in Amrabat and Todibo, our squad will look very, very good going into the season. I think we'll have a great chance of doing well this season because of that. I think most of the players that Ten Hag has brought in are players that he trusts, that he's worked with, he knows well, and he knows that they'll commit to the club and they'll give it their all, and that's what you need. You do not want superstars, you don't want players that come in there and think that they're bigger than the club. You want players that come into Manchester United that will work hard for Manchester United. If you didn't catch the interview with Højlund yesterday, welcome to the Man United stream. Hope you're having a lovely week out there. It's 3 days left for the start of the Premier League season. I cannot wait. All those thrills, the upsets, the goals, the arguments will all start all over again. But before we can start looking forward to United's first game against Wolves on Monday, we need to take a look at all the transfer news surrounding Manchester United. Let's kick off the news that nearly broke the internet yesterday, which was the news that West Ham had indeed come back to Manchester United and offered in the region of £60 million for a double swoop of McTominay and Maguire. If you caught yesterday's show, which is recorded early in the morning, we reported that West Ham were rumoured to be preparing a bid in the region of £60 million for both of these players. But I must be honest, I was not expecting it to come on point that quickly. Soon after the show went live in the afternoon, around 3 PM, around 5 PM, the news broke that West Ham had indeed made an offer for £60 million for both these players. This of course wasn't our news. We have to thank our sources for giving us that heads up. What we would however ask for you is to subscribe to the channel. We provide you with all the latest Manchester United news and opinion 7 days a week, so you will not miss a beat on all the Manchester United news and what's going on. If you haven't already subscribed, then go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and whilst you're at it, hit that like button as well. Okay, so West Ham, our knights in shining armour, have come back once again, not just to take Harry Maguire, but also take McTominay away with them too. The breaking news, of course, sent shockwaves throughout the sporting world. We could see Man United fans begging Manchester United to accept the offer. In fact, on one point, the term accept was trending on Twitter. So clearly Man United fans wanted to see the back of these two players, but around an hour and a half into this news breaking, we also started getting news that Manchester United had rejected the offer of £60 million for both. Like, what the hell is going on? I said to you in yesterday's show that if West Ham came with an offer in the region of £60 million for both these players, I would take it and run with it. After being told that the offer had been rejected, I was quickly told by sources that Man United have said to West Ham that they are really close to what they value the players for and would like West Ham to increase their offer to meet the valuations of both players. We keep hearing that it's an offer for £60 million, but this may not be the actual figure. Like always, it transpires that the offer that actually is being talked about in the media, in the press, is not always the offer that's actually been made, and it's only later on, once everything's done and dusted, we find out the offer was much lower or completely different to what we were thinking it originally was. So it may not be £60 million that they've offered, and that's why Manchester United have gone back and rejected that offer immediately. Now all eyes are back on West Ham, who do look like they are set on getting both these players. Our friend David Moyes, the ex-Manchester United manager, is the current manager of West Ham, and I guess he must still know a few Manchester United fans and must have heard their pleas to come and buy Maguire off United. Either way, West Ham look like they really want the duo, and for the sake of all Man United fans, more importantly the person who rejected the offer, we hope that West Ham come back with an increased offer today and get what they want. But everyone, the fans, the club, forget that the final call on the move is that of the players. Now, as far as I've been informed, Scott McTominay is prepared to leave Manchester United knowing that he will get more game time and wishes to play on a regular basis for a Premier League team. The noises that have come out of Harry Maguire's camp, however, have not been so forthcoming to a move away from Old Trafford. Harry Maguire genuinely feels that he belongs in a top 4 club and feels like he will break back into the first 11 at United. Despite having the captaincy taken off him and despite having Luke Shaw play in centre-back instead of him last season, he still feels he has a chance to get back into the first 11 at Manchester United. I used the word delusional yesterday, but I really blame people advising Maguire. It's clear that they're not doing a good enough job of advising Maguire. It's like that they can see him running towards the edge of a cliff, but none of them are telling him to stop. They need to sit Harry Maguire down and tell him that he is better off at a club like West Ham playing every week, and that may help him improve his performances. If Maguire is playing every week, he might even hold on to his place in the international team, but staying at United would end up hurting him the most. There's no news about what personal terms are being offered by West Ham, and I guess that could become a big issue for someone like Harry Maguire, who's on a massive salary at United, and West Ham are unlikely to match the salary he's getting paid. So Maguire might just feel like sticking it out at United for another 2 years, and after that move to West Ham. For Maguire, it might simply come down to money. Well, I guess for most of us, it would come down to money. I hope we get a happy ending to this quickly as possible, and so we can bring in the players that we need to, and Harry Maguire can move on and concentrate on his career. For me, I think it's really important for the Man United squad to be settled and focused on the season coming. We know we have lots of games to play and cannot have a squad of players looking around, seeing who is staying and who's leaving. We need the players that are leaving to leave fast, so that the players that are at United can bond and get playing some serious football. The last thing you want is an unhappy player sitting around sulking and bringing down the rest of the players that are trying to play well and trying to get a positive vibe going. I cannot imagine Harry Maguire being a positive personality in that dressing room, can you? Okay, before I forget, please support your fellow Man United channel. Make sure you hit that like button for the video, as it then gets shown to more and more Man United fans, and we United fans have to help each other out. If you're new to the channel and this is your first time listening to our show, well, it's your lucky day. Go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you do it now before the video ends so you do not forget. Fred. Really, I did not imagine that I would be sat here with less than a week before the start of the season talking about Fred. We have been getting reports for well over a month saying this day, this week, Fred will be leaving. We have sources saying that Fred will leave at the end of this transfer window. Fred did not take part in pre-season at all, so you'd think that he would have got things sorted by now, but no, he hasn't. There was interest from teams from Turkey, we heard, and then we heard that he was going to move to Turkey, but then it all went cold. Cold turkey. Do you get it? Awful joke. Sorry. Now the talk is that Fred is actually speaking to clubs in Saudi and might be on the verge of moving to a club in Saudi. I just don't get why this transfer has taken so long. And as far as the Saudis are concerned, and United, they literally have bought one player from United for peanuts, and that's it. It was Alex Telles, if you remember, for about 4 million or something, and then that's it. Blanket ban on all the rest of the players, who I felt had a lot to offer Saudi clubs. I was told by a source that Fred would be gone by end of this week, but last night I heard from another source that Fred will not be going by end of the week and continues to speak to clubs about his future. This has to be one of the longest transfer negotiations I've seen in recent years. We also reported yesterday that Donny van de Beek, the player that never was, is also in talks with Real Sociedad, and if a fee and personal terms can be agreed, he'll be happy to leave. So let's wait and see if that gets done. Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, Fred and Donny van de Beek are 4 players that might not be here in a few weeks. We might have to add Mason Greenwood to that list if the United board decide that he can no longer play for United. Most of the comments on this issue have come down in support of Greenwood, saying that he should be allowed to return to Old Trafford and play once again. But I've not heard anything from our sources about which way this decision is going to go down. It is literally 50-50. He might be in or he might be out. Another player that I'm surprised has not been linked to a move out is Anthony Martial. I remember when he first signed, Martial and his debut against Liverpool, what a goal he scored. Some fans were already comparing him to Thierry Henry, the new Thierry Henry in the Premier League. We were all hyped. We had such high hopes for Anthony Martial. But it's with regret I have to say that Martial did not live up to all that hype. For whatever reason, he just didn't turn into what we all hoped he would. I think this is why lots of fans are firmly keeping their feet and hopes for Rasmus Højlund firmly stuck to the ground, low as possible until he does not come good. We have had many new hopes come into the club and let us down. Through no fault of their own, Martial hasn't stayed fit enough for a long period of time. Martial had the ability for sure, but he just hasn't had the rub of the green when it comes to injuries. I'm hearing from sources within United that Ten Hag really likes Martial and believes that if he can stay fit, he will offer something to Man United. For this season, Martial will stay at United like Sancho and be allowed to showcase their abilities and prove their worth. So that rounds up today's transfer news. Or does it? We didn't once mention Amrabat. Well, Amrabat is sat somewhere in Italy with his bags packed. Fiorentina ruled Amrabat out of the 2 upcoming friendly matches on Friday 11th of August and then on Saturday 12th of August, which tells you that they know that he is on the way out and don't want him to get injured and mess up the transfer. Fiorentina don't actually start their season until 19th of August. If the deal has not been done by then, we will then see if Fiorentina start him or do not. That would give everything away. The summer transfer window comes to a close on Friday 1st of September, and I keep saying that I get this feeling that the last few days of this summer transfer window are going to be insane. I think with this year's mix with the Saudi and Premier League and other leagues, we will see a last minute buying frenzy like you've never seen before. If you remember, the Saudis put aside a huge lump sum of cash to buy players, and I think when it comes near to closing of the transfer window, they will go wild. In transfer news that is not directly related to Manchester United but could impact United is the news that Spurs have rejected the most recent bid by Bayern Munich for Harry Kane. We're being told that there was an offer in the region of 85 million which Spurs and Daniel Levy rejected outright. Many hope that this could signal Man United have a chance of signing Kane, but from our sources in Germany we're hearing that Bayern will be increasing their offer and are in constant dialogue with Spurs and will most likely reach a settlement. Spurs will not want to lose Harry Kane on a free next summer. Let's wait and see if that actually happens, and if it does, that's fine. I don't think we're going to be in for Harry Kane either. I don't think we have the budget, we do not have the finances. That's the biggest issue this transfer window. We have been skimping, we've been buying players on the cheap. We can all see that. Even Rasmus Højlund, a striker worth that much, is nothing compared to what people have paid for strikers. Look at Liverpool and what they paid for Nunes. Look at Murdoch, what Chelsea paid for him. We got our player on a complete cheap compared to them, and so if anyone tells you any different, just tell them to stick it, because that is not true. Manchester United this summer transfer window have done some really good business, and if we bring in Amrabat and Todibo, our squad will look very good going into the season. I think we'll have a great chance of doing well this season because of that. I think most of the players that Ten Hag has brought in are players that he trusts, that he's worked with, he knows well, and he knows that they'll commit to the club and they'll give it their all, and that's what you need. You do not want superstars, you don't want players that come in there and think that they're bigger than the club. You want players that come into Manchester United that will work hard for Manchester United. If you didn't catch the interview with Højlund yesterday, what an amazing interview we had there. He wants to play for Manchester United desperately. He's a boyhood Manchester United fan, and he says that he will give it his all. He will give his blood towards Manchester United, and that's what you want to hear. You want players that are coming in that are actually there for Manchester United. Look at Martinez. I mean, all the players that Ten Hag has brought in, I feel are doing a fantastic job for Manchester United, and that is why I have absolute faith in what Ten Hag is doing and who he's bringing in to the club. I think that all the players that he's brought in, like the Casemiro even, are playing really well, and then he's got the other players like Rashford, like Bruno, playing to the highest of their abilities and really doing well. I really can see this season becoming a really good season for Man United. We've got the players we needed, we just need to start playing consistently and getting that positive feeling going on in the dressing room and getting our confidence really high, and I think we can really start playing well this season. Of course, there's going to be ups and downs, there always is, but look, if we stay consistent and play well and become a hard team to beat, if teams start fearing us, that is when you know that you're going to be a team that's going to do well in the season. Hit that like button and subscribe. You are watching the Man United Stream, a channel by the fans for the fans.